The following program is part of WHRW's Public Affairs Department. The views expressed are those of the speakers and are not necessarily those of WHRW's management or of other WHRW station members. Therefore, you're advised to consider carefully whether you or your children should listen. With questions or comments about this program, contact pa@whrwfm.org.
Welcome to the Weekday Wellness Update here on WHRW. My name is Emma Hunter. I'm a health educator here at Binghamton University and excited to be back after 2 weeks. There was winter break and then winter really came. And so we were off for a couple weeks, but we're back. And to help get the show back into the swing of things, I am here with Julie Lee, a registered dietitian. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Good.
So can you tell me your title and explain kind of your role here on campus?
Sure. So my official title, I think, would be campus dietitian. I work for dining services, and I guess the main part of my job is that I'm available for students, staff, and faculty for nutrition counseling. And this is a service that I offer free of charge. Most of the time, students can just contact me directly to set up appointments, and that's kind of my main job. But I do a lot of things beyond that, and I could probably take your whole show explaining all of the things that I do, but some of the things include putting on some wellness programming. You might see me doing health promotion, tabling events. I sit on several committees on campus, and all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I could probably talk the whole time about that.
So you said you offer counseling, one-on-one counseling, and I imagine that to become a registered dietitian, you had to go through a fair bit of schooling and stuff. So what kind of got you into the field, and how did you get here to Binghamton University?
Sure. So I always thought health and wellness was really interesting, especially the nutrition aspect of it when I was growing up. But I never thought I could do anything with it. As far as I knew, the only thing I could do with it was be a health teacher, which I did not want to be. So I actually went to college studying fashion design. That's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a fashion designer. And just in my first semester at SUNY Oneonta, I was taking nutrition education to fulfill a general education requirement. And I fell in love, and I found out I could become a dietitian and I could make a career out of it. So I quickly switched over. And the rest is kind of history. So that's how I got into that career track. As far as how I made it to this current position, after I graduated, I had a few per diem and part-time jobs in various different settings like long-term care, oncology, weight management. And then back in 2014, I actually started my first full-time job with Lourdes, and I was a dietitian for their bariatric surgery program. And I did that all the way up until this past August when I joined the team here, and I've been very happy.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Thanks.
And your scarf is fabulous, so you've still got that fashion
yeah.
design in with you. So you work for dining services, which I know is closely tied with Sodexo. So I was kind of wondering, as this show is wellness focused, how does dining services really approach health and wellness, and what are their goals to providing a healthy campus?
Sure. So I don't know if you know this, but Sodexo actually, as a corporation, places priority on promoting health and wellness in all of their sectors. So whether they're in healthcare or they're working even in the leisure sector, they want to promote health and wellness for both their customers and their employees. So this is something that comes from the corporation itself, and certainly it applies to this account in particular in Binghamton University. And I think it really helps that the university itself is so focused on health and wellness promotion. But some of the things that we do on this campus in particular, from a dining services aspect, is one of the major things that we did is back in 2014, the university actually partnered with 20 other universities for something called the Partnership for Healthier America. There's a lot of long names. Their Healthy Campus Initiative. This included a commitment to completing 23 different goals that have to do with health and wellness. And they cover all different types of departments, but a lot of them were food and nutrition. So dining services was very much involved. We had to complete all 23 of these goals within 3 years, and we are just about to come up at the end of it. So we'll be putting our final report together at the end of this year. But some of the things that came out of that, some of the goals, just to give you some examples, is offering vegetarian options at every meal. Anytime that there is, a meat option, we offer a vegetarian option. We have to have a minimum amount of fruits and vegetables and whole grains at every meal. We also have a line of desserts at lunch and dinner every day that you can choose from that are 150 calories or less. We source local foods from a lot of different local food companies. So those are some of the things that came out of this initiative, and much more too. And you can go on our website to read more about that. But that's a lot of what we do to help promote that. And obviously, Alexa, our other dietitian, and I are pretty involved with that as well.
And that's a huge task. I mean, this is a big campus, and I've, been through and I've gotten food, and I mean, to the average customer, you don't really think much of it, but there's so much behind it. And then to know that you actually have to meet these, serving recommendations and calories and stuff like that, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that I take part in this thing where you, I think it's flexible dining maybe, where you get like a 10% back perk, which is great for, I believe I participate more in retail dining, which is different from residential. Is that correct?
Yes. So the big difference is residential dining refers to mostly the dining centers. So, that the 4 major dorm communities, so there's Shenango Champlain, I know it's C4, Shenango Champlain Collegiate Center is one of them, College in the Woods, Appalachian, and then Hinman. Those are dining centers, and those are considered resident dining because that's basically where the students who live on campus, they rely on getting their food from those places. Not that they can't go other places, and not that other people can't go to those, but they're mainly there to serve those populations. And then retail dining refers mostly to basically everything else.
Okay.
So everything from our branded concepts like Starbucks and Subway to cakes and eggs in the marketplace, and basically everything in the marketplace, to the Shenango Room, they're all considered to be retail dining locations. So that's the major difference between the two of them. And I don't know a lot about the meal plans, but yes, there is one where you can basically just load up a card with money, and when you put the money on it, Sodexo actually matches whatever you put in there by 10%. So if you put in $100, they'll tack on an extra $10 there. And it's nice because that at least saves you from having to pay sales tax if you're using that card to purchase things. So it's great that you take advantage of that.
Yeah, I love it. So on kind of a different note, I've heard that food allergies, this statistic is wild, have increased in prevalence by over 50% in recent years, which I'm not quite sure I can wrap my mind around. But can you expand, or do you have any theories as to why that might be?
Well, I don't have any theories from me, but I do know that there are several theories out there.
Okay. Are we all just big babies and we're becoming more in touch with our bodies, or what?
That could possibly be. That could be a contributing factor, is that, with the prevalence of food allergies and so much more focus on it in the media, perhaps there are more people that before would have just thought, well, this is just normal, I guess, and are now just starting to investigate it, and I'm finding that they have food allergies. That certainly could be part of it. One of the theories is that because, over the past however many years, we've become so germophobic as a society and gotten really heavy on the antibiotics and the sanitizing everything when the kids are growing up, that there's this sanitation theory where perhaps because our children aren't being exposed to these allergens at a young age, they never really, develop any kind of immunity towards it. And the body will think that they are actually foreign invaders. So that's another part of it. Another theory is that our food has changed so much, and the way that we procure our food has changed so much relatively recently. We used to grow everything in small amounts. We ate a lot of very simple food that wasn't processed. And just over the past, even the 50 years, that has changed dramatically the way we grow crops. We've genetically modified a lot of crops, and people eat a lot of processed foods with chemicals that we don't know a lot about. So that could also be part of it. We're not eating the same food that people ate 100 years ago.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and with all these food allergies and certainly the increasing number of them, how do you accommodate that? I mean, I would imagine that it'd be a little scary. I don't, if people have really severe allergies, yeah, what steps do you take, and how safe a spot can you provide? I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of students with food allergies. And Alexa could probably tell you more about this. She's been here for a while, and I've only been here since August. But that number has grown significantly over the past few years. So just to give you some examples, we have everything from we have a lot of people with celiac disease or just gluten intolerance, a lot of people with shellfish allergies, a lot of people with nuts.
That's the scary one.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I always feel like nut allergy is the worst for some reason. I don't know.
Nuts and seeds, in particular sesame, that has become fairly common. And nuts definitely can be a little bit scary because especially peanut allergies, they have the potential to be very severe and the potential to cause a life-threatening reaction. And we have had students that have an airborne peanut allergy, which means not only will they react if it's in their food or touches their food, but even if there are particles in the air and they breathe them in, they could have a reaction. And we have accommodated those. So some of the ways that we accommodate food allergies, we do have one dining platform called Simple Servings that you can find in either C4 or Appalachian dining centers. And those stations serve food that are free of the top 7 of the 8 allergies. So I'm assuming you're going to want to know what those are.
Okay, I want to know what the missing one is. Okay, read them all and then I want to guess the missing one.
Okay, I'm going to do my best. Okay. I feel like I always forget one. Okay, so wheat, nuts, soy, dairy, shellfish, eggs.
Okay.
I'm missing one.
2 more.
Well, I'm missing one. Is it peanuts? Because sometimes tree nuts and peanuts are kind of considered.
Because peanuts are a legume, right? I mean, it's just
separate.
Or a bean, right? Aren't they?
I know I'm forgetting one. But the one that we do serve out of the top 8, I'll tell you, is fish. We do serve fish. So
okay.
That's the one that's missing out. But 90% of people who have food allergies are allergic to these 8.
Okay.
The top 8. That's really going to bug me. I feel like I'm forgetting one.
It's okay.
I always do. So that's one way that we accommodate them. We have a lot of other ways too. In C4, there's an area called My Zone in the corner. And this is an area that's been also set up for people who have food allergies. The entire area is gluten-free in that the equipment there is only to be used on gluten-free products. We have lots of gluten-free products there. We also have some nut-free products, like we have sunflower seed butter over there, or sun butter it's called. We have cereals that don't have nuts and seeds, so that students can use that area to prepare those foods there, or any food that they bring in. We also, if a student has extensive food allergies, we can make food for them in the back so that they don't have to worry about it being all out.
That's really nice.
With everything else, they can arrange to have special meals put together. We can make little bins for them in the back that have products that are there just for them. If there's something that they request and that they used to have at home and they want to have here. So we really try to do our best to make sure that they can eat and they can feel safe eating on campus.
Incredible. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, is one allergy drastically more difficult to accommodate or to, safeguard from than the other? Or are they all kind of on the same plane, would you say?
I mean, obviously there are some allergens that are going to be more prevalent in the diet. A lot of foods have gluten, a lot of foods have soy. The nuts and seeds usually, you can be it can be fairly straightforward what foods are going to have those. Shellfish, same thing. So I would say it's those other little ones that are often added as an ingredient or as part of an ingredient that are more difficult to avoid. But I think for the people that is the hardest to accommodate for are probably the people that have multiple food allergies. If you're gluten-free and you can't have nuts or seeds.
And you're a vegan.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Right, exactly. We're certainly able to do it, like I said, even if it means making special meals in the back and having separate food ordered, we can still do it. Like I said, we do everything we possibly can to make sure the students can eat safely and can fit their diet.
That's great. That's great. A good commitment to wellness. So not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot, I'm going to ask you some hypotheticals here. So if you were a student, I'm going to give you an allergy or a dietary preference of some sort. Where would you suggest eating? And it could be multiple places if all of the dining halls are equipped for this, but I thought I would give you a couple. So let's say you're a vegan, and correct me if I'm wrong, a vegan is an individual who doesn't eat any products that come from an animal. So that includes meat and then also like eggs and dairy products and stuff like that. Where would be a good spot for you to go?
Sure. So any of the dining halls can accommodate that. In particular, there is actually a vegan station in College in the Woods called Gifts from the Garden, and that entire station, you never have to worry about it. You can go there and everything's going to be vegan. So that's a great place to go that you can be sure you're going to be good. But also, like I said, the simple serving station. So not only is it for people who have food allergies, but it's a great place to find pretty reliably healthy options. They always have 2 lean proteins, 2 vegetables, a whole grain, and a bean or lentil option. So if you were vegan, that'd be a great place to get your whole grain and beans to make a complete meal. And you can get your veggies there too. So that's actually another place that I would go if I was a vegan. I would go there fairly often because I know those are going to be good. But there's lots of places you can go on campus. If a place offers stir fry, like Pacific Rim at Hinman, you can get tofu for the protein. We have tofu on the salad bars a lot of the time, or if not tofu, we have beans. Even in places that you wouldn't think about, like trying to think of an example. I feel like you could probably go to Einstein's and still get something vegan. Like they have this topper thing that is like half a bagel with some. You can either get hummus. You would have to get hummus if you were vegan, and then you get veggies on top of it. I mean, I think there's ways to work things around to get something to be vegan in a lot of places on campus.
Yeah, and it sounds like you guys have just tons of options for people, so that's awesome. And if someone were to, so this is a question I have. So let's say someone were to determine that they wanted to utilize your services as a nutrition counselor. Do you provide one free consultation, or could we make this a 4-year relationship? How does that work?
Really, there is no cap on it at the moment. I
come to you every single day and be like, what should I have for lunch?
Typically what I do is I'll see somebody initially, and then kind of depending on how the first appointment went, I might recommend seeing it again, or I might just leave it open-ended. Like, it seems like we went through a lot of information today. Let me know if you want to follow up at any point. Usually do a follow-up of 2 weeks. I find that that's a good amount of time for someone to, go about their business and kind of start working on new behaviors and have some feedback for next time. But I've had some students that I've worked with, continuously, and I have a lot that just come once. I kind of leave it up to the person I'm meeting with.
It's awesome. That's really cool. And it seems like once meeting with you, they could maybe take things into their own hands by utilizing the nutrition tracking system on your website. I guess where you can kind of like plug in what you've eaten or what you're going to eat and kind of keep track of your caloric intake.
There's actually a video on our website that you can watch to see how that works. But basically what it is you can pull up I think there's a couple weeks at a time. You can pull up the menu for whatever dining center you're looking for. And if you hover over a menu selection, there's going to be a little box that pops up with some nutrition information. So you can take a look ahead of time or take a look later to see what you had and check out some of the nutrition information from it.
That's cool. Yeah, I was going through it, and I was like, this must have taken forever to compile that. That's such a database. That's an incredible thing to have, and it's so easy. I don't know, to just put things in your mouth and, just eat. You have no idea. You have no idea. So I thought that was really cool. And you guys Alexa was kind enough to come and speak to my class about nutrition services. But I know that you do some other programs and stuff like that to involve maybe the campus in your nutritional messaging. Can you tell me about something else?
What can I tell you about that I haven't already told you about?
Well, you had mentioned to me something about a blog, and I thought this was kind of cool because it's kind of like the whole ask a dietitian thing. You know what I mean? Like, you obviously have a wealth of knowledge on eating healthy and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool to be able to look on your blog and be like, oh, this is what she does. She leads a healthy life. She has experience in this. Is this blog going to continue, or how do you see that moving forward?
Well, sure. So just to give people some background information, if you're not already aware, I did start a blog, and it started last week. And my original intention was that I was going to do a challenge where I ate all of my meals for a week on campus. And that was to kind of see for myself if there are healthy options or if I'd just be stuck eating salad for a week, see how easy it is for students to be able to see what the healthy options are. I thought it would make me better at my job, too. So I set out to do this and blog every day about what I ate, where I got it from, and how I made my decision. Put some other information about resources around campus, too. Got a little interrupted by Storm Stella. So for a couple of days there, I blogged from home, and I blogged about what I made at home from what was sitting in my apartment, which I also felt like might be relevant to a college student.
Sure.
So I'm making up for the couple of days I missed last week by doing it this week. As far as whether it will continue or not, I don't think I'll continue it every day because it's pretty labor intensive. Sure. I feel like my entire job has just been taking pictures of what I eat.
Hey, I can fill in at any time. You let me know.
Right about it. But I have thought about what if I did something in the fall where I ate only vegan on campus for a week and wrote about it to see, can I eat vegan for a week and get a good variety of foods? Or can I eat gluten-free for a week on campus? Am I able to find enough options? So I am interested, but I really would love to know what readers think. I haven't got a lot of feedback yet.
So where can I check out this blog?
So if you follow any of Dining Services social media platforms, they are usually found if you search at BU Campus Foods. So we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even Snapchat. We are promoting the link on those platforms. You can also find the link to the website on our website, binghamtonudining.com. If you have a pen, it is Julie's Healthy Campus Meal Challenge.wordpress.com.
Julie's Healthy
Campus Meal Challenge.wordpress.com.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So if you can remember that and type it in, that's what it is as well. So check it out if you have a chance. I think it's pretty interesting.
I thought it was cool.
If nothing else, you can look at the pictures.
I thought it was really cool. And in kind of a similar thing, I know that our department, our office, the health education office, and lots of representatives from all over campus are going to be at the health fair tomorrow, which is free and open to the public, I believe, 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. in the rec center, East Gym. And it's a whole fair dedicated to health. So what are you going to be bringing?
So I will have a table there, small but mighty, and I'm going to be showing off the fact that we have those 150-calorie desserts. I'm going to have the list of what we have. And also I'm going to have a sample of a potential new one, black bean brownies. And I tried this recipe at home, and it was delicious. I actually made it and didn't tell my husband and his friend that had black beans in it, and they ate like 5 of them, and then I told them.
Wow.
Yeah. So check that out. And I'll also be there promoting my blog and some other things like that. And I'll be along with the rest of Dining Services. We're going to have a ton of stuff there.
And by a ton of stuff, do you mean a ton of free food? Are we talking
Yeah.
that too? Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So, before we get out of here, I get the honor of interviewing these experts every week, and I like to really end with it with giving you a chance to instill some wisdom on us, and based on your experience and your education. I'm curious, if you could eliminate one food item or like one ingredient from, all of the food that is available to us, and not just because you think it's gross and you don't like it, but because it's unhealthy, what would it be and why?
Donuts.
Donuts?
No, just kidding. Just kidding. Donuts are fine. The one thing that I would say, and I very rarely speak in such black and white terms, but the one thing we absolutely do not need is hydrogenated oil. That is, if you don't know, that's basically what trans fat is. That's where it comes from.
Okay.
And even with the proliferation of how bad trans fat is for us, it's still in our food. And the sneaky thing is they don't have to put it on the label, where you look at the trans fat line.
How did they get...
They don't have to put it on there if the serving size has less than half a gram in it. So a food could say 0, but if you see that ingredient, hydrogenated whatever oil or partially hydrogenated whatever oil,
run the other way.
It has trans fat in it. And the research has shown, and the recommendations are, limit this as much as possible. There is absolutely no health benefit. No one would benefit from eating it, and if anything, it is detrimental.
Do you know anything it's been linked to? Is it linked to weight gain, or are there any detrimental effects of it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So mostly cardiovascular health, hardening the arteries, which could lead to stroke, all kinds of different heart disease, high blood pressure. It also promotes inflammation in the body, and so many diseases are linked to inflammation. So there's actually a lot of things that it's associated with. There's absolutely no need for it. The body does not need trans fat.
Okay, so one more time. If I'm going to look at the food label the next time I'm in the store, and if I see that it has trans fat or what was it,
Look at the ingredients.
Okay.
Forget the label.
Okay, ingredients.
We're going to look at the ingredients, and you're going to look for the word hydrogenated.
Hydrogenated.
If you see partially or fully hydrogenated, it could be soybean oil, canola, whatever kind of oil it is, put it back down.
Okay.
And find a different alternative that does not have it in it.
Okay, and hope that one, even if it has less than a certain amount, doesn't have it, right?
Right. If it doesn't have that in the ingredients, doesn't have any hydrogenated oil, you should be pretty safe. Okay. That's where most of it comes from.
Okay. So we are just about out of time, but before we go, I wanted to give you a chance to just provide links to more information or, phone, website, office, email. If somebody is interested in learning more about what you do and the services in your department, where can they go?
Sure. So if you, again, go on our website, binghamtonudining.com, there's a Meet the Dietitians page. It has Alexa and my information on it. It has our phone numbers. It has our emails. You can contact us either way to set up an appointment or just if you have a question. It's got a little blurb about, what kind of services we offer. And then there are a bunch of links off of that as far as some other resources on campus for health and wellness. So that's a great place to start.
Great. Well, we're just about out of time, but it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. And I'm excited to see you at the health fair tomorrow, the Reach Real Education About College Health. We are going to be there too. So come and stop by. That's again from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. in the East Gym. It's free and open to the public. Lots of goodies, apparently lots of food. It's going to be great. This is Emma Hunter getting out of here, but I'll see you next Tuesday, same time for the Weekday Wellness Update here on WHRW.
Thank you.